Hello again. My name is Clara. I'm 28. I have endometriosis stage 4 spread to my diaphragm. In the first video of this playlist, so I've made a playlist that's gonna be called my endometriosis journey. I'm trying to catch up until where I am now. But in the first video we spoke about the beginning of symptoms and what kind of symptoms I had. In this one, I'm gonna talk more about how I got the actual diagnosis. I did kind of mention it before, but this is gonna go a bit more deeper into that part. I got all of my documents in front of me that explain everything. So sometimes I'm going to look back down to read you some words that are a bit complicated for me. Okay, so as I was mentioning, my endo has always been... Oh, by the way, don't mind the noise in the background. That's just my computer doing this thing. I don't know if I've mentioned that or not. But yeah, so we've said that I had painful periods, the cramping, the bloating, the fatigue, and until here I feel like most women's feel that. So never flagged it, never got worried, until end 2023. When I had one of the worst experiences of my life. So when you try to understand if your periods are getting worse or better, it's hard. Because again, for me, it's always been like, oh, the previous period was easier. But I really strongly believe that it's all mentally. Because obviously the previous period is gone. You're not in that phase, so you don't feel as bad. So I was trying to understand how bad my situation was. And it was a bit of a struggle because I get really bad periods. Like when I get triggered. I would never hurt myself, but when I get triggered and I get a full-on flare-up, I kind of get a bit hopeless, and you know, the thought that I'm gonna have to live like this, it's just a bit depressing. I don't want to go there. I'm not talking about that. But going back to the endometriosis, my symptoms started to get really bad. End of 2023, I had the longest period of my life. I would like to say that it lasted for around 5 months. And it was horrendous. One of my friends is a nurse and she came to say hello. And I remember my heart was like pounding over the limit. I couldn't get up to make myself a cup of water without feeling dizzy, and the room would be spinning. And it slowly got me to a point where I just couldn't move by myself. So my husband had to carry me to the loo and pick me back up. Even when the ambulance showed up, I couldn't get closer to them. They had to move the whole bedding. Or when before, when I had to call them, I was lying in my bed and I just dropped my phone next to my face, and any kind of movement to pick up that phone, it just felt like something was gonna break inside me. It was horrendous. And that was when new symptoms showed up, on top of the fatigue and the being tired and all of that. the walking wobbly, the fainting, the throwing up, the cramps, that all of that was already enough. But on top of the struggle breathing, it wasn't a struggle of breathing like you have a cold. It was like somebody was on top of my chest, and if I've taken a deep breath, I'll break my ribs, if that makes sense. It felt like, not breaking my ribs, but it felt like I had to take many, many, many small breaths, like kind of like nearly like hyperventilating, but I couldn't hyperventilate because that was painful. It was a very horrendous place to be. And during my laparoscopy, I eventually found out that I have a nodule on my diaphragm that could have caused that pain. So we're still on to the phase of investigating it and trying to figure out. But based on my research of Google, ChatGPT, many, many other women's online, many support groups, I know at this point that if you do have endometriosis growing on your diaphragm, usually you get with it a shoulder pain. So a shoulder pain is a bit specific. So like for me, is a pain that goes here. So like kind of like the top, for me it's like the top back. So if this is the top, just right here, this area. I get usually shooting pain on my right side, and if I carry on ignoring it, it gets worse. So usually if I start feeling shoulder pain, I'll, slow down and don't do as much, or simply go to sleep. It's not incredibly annoying because, like in my case, if I leave it alone when it starts, it kind of like doesn't flare up. But if I carry on, then it becomes a persistent pain. And when everything is hurting from the boobs down, the last thing you want to have is neck pain and shoulder pain. It took me a while because it's not correlated with I know that certain women get it with their periods, so they get shoulder pain when they have a period. For me, it was completely random. I genuinely cannot tell you where the shoulder pain stands against my period, like if it's on ovulation, if it's on specific parts of the month. I have no idea. I've never thought there was a connection. So the pain started early 2020, and I went to my doctor, spoke about, I was working, I used to work in a restaurant. I was just doing some dishes, and I felt this shooting pain, and I've ignored it. And I kept, doing dishes and tidying it up, clearing up tables, serving food. And eventually my whole hand and arm kind of like went numb. So I got worried. I went to speak to my doctor. He made me do, all of those silly tests where they pull, they push, let me see your shoulder. They did like a physio on me. Physio? I think that's the word. Not physiotherapy, but like a physio exam. Anyway, we thought it could have been a tendonitis problem. At that point, I've lost loads of weight. I was feeling great. So I was like, yeah, maybe I've done too much in the gym, and now I'm dealing with the consequences. But there was never a direct correlation between my shoulder pain and my period, or I've never noticed a direct connection between shoulder pain and my period. Then once I moved to the UK, I nearly immediately, I think after a year, I came off my contraceptive, I came off the antidepressants, and the shoulder pain became more angry. Like, it was showing up more often, it was more aggressive, it was really, really hurting. I couldn't put my coat on, I couldn't do many things, I had always to stop earlier. And at that phase, I was in one of my first jobs in the UK. Most of the time was fine. It was just like, I'll get home and I'll be in pain. So that was not fun. I end up calling the GP. They've ignored me, you know, it's gonna pass, take some drugs, it's gonna be okay. So I think they've started me on cocodamol. That is basically codeine and paracetamol. Nothing happened. The pain started to get really bad, and one day at work I pushed it. Like, I've tried to work really hard, and to the point where I think I only had one episode, but on top of this shoulder being basically useless, I started getting pain on this other arm. So I got worried. I thought, you know, maybe something's wrong with my spine. It's not a tendon. So I went to A&E, had myself quickly checked, and, well, quickly. What a word. I got myself checked in A&E in England. 15 hours maybe, to get given codeine and sent back home. And, well, yeah, the pain kind of was gone, but then like a couple of days after, the pain is back. And then I just kept going back and forth to the hospital. I think I've gone for my shoulder pain for like 4 or 5 times to A&E. You know, please give me an MRI, please give me a scan, an X-ray, anything that you think is worth doing. And the answer was, there is nothing broken, and, you know, if there's a problem with the muscle, if you pulled something, we cannot really see it on an MRI or an X-ray, so there is no point to do them. So there was no kind of looking into it, like nothing at all. Until one day I was looking up, because my periods in the meantime were getting worse and worse. So I've started looking up shoulder pain and endometriosis. But it showed up many things, but nothing. Sorry, I got distracted. Shoulder pain and endometriosis, and I found these like loads of videos of girls talking about diaphragmatic endometriosis. So it grows on your diaphragm, you get a flare up, everything get kind of like an inflammation happening around the area. The diaphragm will put more pressure, I think, on the spine, or there is some kind of like correlation between the spine and the diaphragm. So if your diaphragm has endo, it put more pressure, I want to say, on the spine and causes nerves problems. In fact, when you do a laparoscopy and they fill up your belly with gas and you get the air, after the laparoscopy, you get kind of like, I felt it like the same kind of shoulder pain, except the fact that was nearly always there for the first 2 days. So that was the moment where I started to freak out and be really worried, because I thought, you know, if my endo, it's reached my diaphragm and I'm starting to struggle breathing, that means that there is a serious problem. So I pushed to see a gynae and a doctor and this and that, and I've done the first ultrasound, and they found a dermoid cyst. For who doesn't know what a dermoid cyst is, basically really ugly looking dermoid cyst. It's a ball made of crazy cells. So you can get born with it, or you can get it like on your very first periods. And this ball of crazy cells is made of like hair, teeth, bones, skin, brain matter, like all kind of like cells that are not supposed to be there. They just decide to grow there. And that freaked me out. So like, I hate insects, I hate monsters. The idea of having a monster growing inside me was like a big no-no. Get it out. But then so yeah, that was my first ultrasound. They found fibroids. Pretty sure they found adenomyosis. They found that my right ovary looked quite all right. So we have hopes for the right ovary. And then all of that pushed forward to, I've managed to get my surgery scheduled. I got my surgery, I went in, I was completely freaking out, I was upset, I was sad, I was tired. In my head I was thinking all the possible options, you know. Maybe these people are racist, they don't like me. I mean, there is such a long wait list, they're gonna deal with their own people before they deal with me. Or maybe I don't have anything and they know I don't have anything and I'm just a super drama queen. Or like, I was super sensitive, super delicate, and I felt like if you looked at me in the wrong way, you were upsetting me, and I've done something to upset you. And then when I woke up from surgery and I got told, you have endometriosis, you have stage 4 endometriosis growing everywhere. I wanted to use my computer to tell you exactly where, but my computer decided to shut off and turn off because the battery died. So I'm gonna put in the description under this video. But mostly was Patch of Douglas, the rectum, the sigma, the things that hold together the uterus, the spine, the diaphragm, basically everywhere. So far, nobody ever mentioned my bladder. And I'm kind of worried about that because I get really, really bad pain when I pee. So I don't know if they just did not look for long enough or what, but during that little surgery I had, I was supposed to get my cyst removed and and endometriosis, but the surgeon told me, you know, if we find stage 1 and 2, we'll remove it. If it's anything more than that, we will leave it. I did not expect it to find that I had stage 4 and the cyst, and they've not done anything. And that upsets the hell out of me. Because, I mean, you hear in the background every time you start an ultrasound or an MRI, ovarian cancer. And the likelihood to have both ovarian cancer and endometriosis is very low because they're two different things. But, I mean, you're there. Can you not just, like, take a little sample and get it tested and let me know? But no, they didn't. So that upset me a bit. And then, I don't know how it works in other hospitals, but like in mine, I had to go through the legal system to get my results for the surgery because I got lost for follow-up. So all I remembered after waking up was this kind of an idea of talking to the surgeon, telling me that I had endo and that it was everywhere. But I had no papers, nothing was written on my discharge papers. I had no post-surgery appointment, nothing. I had no clue, basically, what they've done to me. I found out that the surgery only lasted for 5 minutes, so that was really upsetting. They gave me 3 holes. They made 3 little holes that they went in, belly button, 2 on the side. They're all healing kind of okay. The one on the bottom, kind of like on the underwear line, is perfectly healed. Basically, you can't even see it. The one in the middle of my belly, that was just like this little cable pulling out of it, and it was bothering me, and I think kind of like ripped out the stitches mid-sleep. I wish they at least put a plaster or something on top to cover them, but they didn't. So that one kind of like opened up a bit and healed, but now like it's a big black chunky chunk. And there is my belly button incision, and that is kind of okay. I can't see it. Is the one that bothers the most. Like, at least for me, that was one of the most annoying incisions ever, because you cannot ever really get it clean. You cannot really see what's going on. Sometimes it leaks. It stinks. I did my op in September, October, November, December, Jan, February, March, April, nearly 7 months post-op, and I still get little issues with my belly button. Trying to think about anything else. So yeah, so at the moment we stand on, I have endo, it's really bad endo. We're really sorry we treated you like crap. But I'm waiting now to have my second surgery done at Liverpool Hospital, because the gynecologist I've spoken with said that Chester Hospital probably cannot deal with my case because it's too advanced, and I don't want to risk it at this point. Like, even if they say come and do it here, I'm like, yeah, even if I'm borderline and you can mess me up, no thank you. So yeah, I'm waiting now for that. In the meantime, there's a lot of cramping, a lot of crying, a lot of pain. I had a full-on mental breakdown this morning. But you know, it is what it is, and you just have to cope with it, put a smile on your face and keep acting friendly. But yeah, I hope this video kind of like gave you an idea about, you know, don't wait. If you think you might have endo, but it's an okay endo, don't wait. It can just get worse. It doesn't get better, especially if you're not under birth control. And yeah, if you have friends, families, sister, please support them, please help them. They need all of it. Like, even if it's just, I'll come to visit you and I'll make you a cup of coffee, or do you need help with anything? Give me a grocery list, I'll give you the money, and you can pop to Tesco for me. The last period we've done a lot of grocery shopping with like delivery and things like that, so that has been very helpful. But just be kind, be nice. People need nice people. So I hope I gave you an idea about what my journey was. Now I'm only waiting for my next operation. I'm really hoping that they're gonna remove the diaphragm problem, even if sometimes they avoid it because it could cause more trouble than not. But I'm planning on going off the birth control post-op because I would like to try for a baby. But it's just a matter of waiting at this point. Hopefully you like this video. I'm so glad we gave her a name to this page. So it's not just cramp, it's a lot more. Get yourself checked up, get loud, get annoying. Unfortunately, that's the only way to get their attention. I went through PAL, the legal system, GP, I put like loads of complaints, but I got it sorted. On the bright side, the nurses that I've met, amazing. The surgeon post-op, amazing. it's just the system that's broken. I'm not upset with anybody at the NHS. They all do what they can do, and yeah, I'll be annoying until I can breathe. Just make me breathe and I'll stop being annoying. But yeah, hopefully I could come back with better updates and maybe a date. My GP thinks that because I have such a big struggle to walk around when I'm on my period, and I get bad headaches caused by the contraceptive that I'm on now, because they've changed it, I might have something wrong with my brain, because that's not possible with endometriosis. So I'm waiting now to get an MRI done on my brain. You know, it could be something bad, but I'm pretty sure that that is just a bit of drama that we don't need. Yeah, I'm home for the next 2 weeks, so I'm gonna be uploading a bit more in the next days, and hopefully I'll hear from you. If you have questions, please leave your questions. I will eventually make a video where I answer some questions, and I'm still working on some ideas of things to talk about, like, you know, how endo effects work and what can you do, traveling with endometriosis, and all kind of possible things. So if you have an idea and you want to share it, please feel free. Yeah, this part too has been a bit chaotic because my computer turned off, so useless. Thank you very much. Have a good day. If you like this video, please put a like or subscribe. That would be very appreciated. You don't have to, but you know, if it doesn't bother you, I would like that. And I hope for all of you to have a beautiful day. And remember, it's not just cramps.